Hello, children. Today we will begin with a new lesson, The Concert, which is written by Shanta Rao, who was a notable dancer from India. She was an exponent of Bharatnatyam and also studied Kathakali and Kuchipudi. She was a recipient of Padma Shri and Sangeet Natak Academy Award and Kalidas Sanman for music, dance, and drama. So, children, this is a heart touching story of a sister who goes out of her way to fulfill her brother's desire to attend a concert where Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Rakha would be playing sitar and the tabla. One morning in a small apartment in Bombay, a girl of about 16 looked up from the newspaper and said excitedly, Pandit Ravi Shankar's playing tomorrow at the Shan Mukhananda auditorium. Shh, said her mother, pointing to the figure sleeping on the bed. You'll wake him up. You know he needs all the sleep and the rest he can get. But the boy on the bed was not asleep. Pandit Ravi Shankar, he said. Pandit Ravi Shankar, the sitar maestro. He raised himself up on his elbows for 1 second and then fell back, but his eyes were shining. We mustn't miss the chance, he said. I've always wanted to hear him and see him. Lie down, son, lie down. His mother sprang to his side. He actually raised himself up without help, she murmured with a catch in her throat, and her eyes turned to the idols on a corner shelf. The prayer which she uttered endlessly came unbidden to her lips. I must hear him and see him, the boy repeated. It's the chance of a lifetime. Then he began to cough and gasp for breath and had to be given oxygen from the cylinder that stood under the bed. But his large eyes were fixed on his sister. So now, children, this is a story about a brother and a sister where Smita is a 16-year-old girl who is reading a newspaper, and suddenly, after reading an article or an advertisement where Pandit Ravi Shankar was about to have a concert at Shan Mukhanand auditorium, she was so excited that she raised her voice loudly. But suddenly her mother pointed at her and said that lower your voice, as her brother was sleeping on the divan. She told that her brother needed all the rest he wants because he was very sick. But her brother wasn't asleep. He heard whatever Smita had told, and he too was excited about Pandit Ravi Shankar's concert. Now he raised himself from the place where he was sleeping, and he was so excited, and he told his mother and his sister that he wanted to go to that concert. But his mother told him to lie down as he wasn't as strong to attend the concert. He wanted very much to go to that concert, but his mother prayed looking at the altar because she knew that he wouldn't live for long and he needed all the strength and care so that he may live well. Now she was praying to God for giving him the life that he needed. It was a chance of his lifetime, he said. He wanted to go to the concert very much. But children, as soon as he was so excited, he started coughing and he couldn't breathe properly. So that is why he was made to sleep, and the oxygen cylinder that was lying under his bed, he had to put in the oxygen so that he could breathe properly. But still, in his eyes, he could see that he wanted to go to that concert. He was continuously looking at his sister. Smita bit her lip in self reproach. She had been so excited at seeing the announcement that she had not remembered that her brother was very ill. She had seen how the doctors had shaken their heads gravely and spoken words that neither she nor her parents could understand. But somewhere deep inside, Smita had known the frightening truth that Anant was going to die. The word cancer had hung in the air. Her brother was dying of cancer, even though she pretended that all would be well and they would return together, a small family of four, to their home in Gaganpur. And he was only 15 and the best table tennis player in the school and the fastest runner. He was learning to play the sitar. They were both taking sitar lessons, but Anand was better than her as in many other things. He was already able to compose his own tunes to the astonishment of their guru. Then cancer had struck and they had come to Bombay so that he could be treated at the cancer hospital in the city. Whenever they came to Bombay, they stayed with Aunt Sushila. Her apartment was not big, but there was always room for them. Now, children, Smita was very, excited after reading the advertisement or the announcement of the concert. But in that excitement, she had forgotten that her brother was very ill. She knew, or she was remembering that how the doctors had told that how bad the situation or health of his brother was, as he was suffering from cancer, and the doctors had already told them that he would not live for long. The word cancer had made their life very very sad. And the brother, okay, Anant, was only 15 years old. He was good at everything. They both were learning sitar lessons, and Anant was a good table tennis player. He was the fastest runner, but life had halted for him as he was suffering from the grave illness. They both were very excited, they both were very good in all the things, but Anand was good in many other things. He used to learn sitar and he had already, learned to compose some of the tunes on his own. Even the guru that was teaching him both of them sitar was amazed, okay? He was surprised that so early he could make the tunes of his own. But the cancer thing was very bad for them. Because of this cancer, they had to come to Bombay as they lived in Gaganpur, where there wasn't good facilities to treat cancer. That is why they had to come to Bombay for the treatment. Now, whenever they came to Bombay, they always stayed at Aunt Shushila's house. But children, the aunt's house wasn't as big, but she never said no. They were always welcomed whenever they wanted to come. They had come with high hopes in the miracles of modern science. They told themselves that Aunt would be Anant would be cured at the hospital and he would again walk and run and even take part in the forthcoming table tennis tournament. And he would play the sitar perhaps be a great sitarist one day. But his condition grew worse with each passing day, and the doctors at the cancer hospital said, "Take him home, give him the thing he likes, indulge him," and they knew then that the boy had not many days to live. But they did not voice their fears. They laughed and smiled and talked and surrounded Anand with whatever made him happy. They fulfilled his every need and gave him whatever he asked for. And now he was asking to go to the concert. The chance of a lifetime, he was saying. When you are better, his mother said, this is not the last time they are going to play. Smita stood at the window looking at the traffic, her eyes wet with tears. Her mother whispered, "But you, Smita, you must go. Your father will take you." When she was alone with Aunt Shushila, Smita cried out in a choked voice, "No, how can I? We have always done things together, Anant and I." So now, children, as they had come to Mumbai, they had come with lots of hopes. Okay, they believed in modern science. They thought that science would heal their child Anant. But in the beginning, the doctors, told them that Anant would one day run and walk and be cured of all the illnesses, but and play sitar and perhaps become the sitarist one day, the great sitarist. But soon all worse things happened with them. As the days were passing by, the doctors told that his case was getting worse and worse every day. So the doctors told them in an indirect way to take him home from the hospital and give him all the love, care, and whatever he asked for, give him everything. So these words, made the family think that there wasn't anything that could cure Anand. So the family, that is the mother and the sister Smita, tried to keep him happy all the time. They gave him everything that he asked for. They laughed, they played, but they never cried in front of him. They never showed the fear and the sorrows that they were going inside because Anant wouldn't live for long. They filled him with whatever he needed, okay, whatever he asked for. But now, at this time, when Smita had read the announcement in the newspaper, he was asking to go to the concert. But children, now as he was so ill, he couldn't even walk on his own. He couldn't go outside. So it wasn't possible for him to attend the concert. The mother said that he cannot go there, as this is not the last time that Pandit Ravi Shankar would be performing. There would be many other concerts where he could go. But mother knew that this was the last for him, but it wasn't possible to send him out. Now Smita stood at the window looking at the traffic, as she was very sad after listening and looking at the condition of his brother Anand. Her mother whispered, okay, she told her slowly in her ears that she should go to the concert with her father. When she was alone, okay, with Aunt Sushila, she cried out in a choked voice because she couldn't take in the thing that her brother would be no more with them in a few days. Now she was, really crying because all the things that they had done, it may be tennis, it may be any kind of activities in the school, they had done it together, Smita and Anand. And now that she would go to the concert alone was really making her cry. She was very, very sad at the condition of Anand. She really wanted her brother to get well soon. A walk in the park might make you feel better, said Aunt Shushila, and Smita was grateful for her suggestion. In the park, people were walking, running, playing ball, doing yogic exercises, feeding the ducks, and eating roasted gram and peanuts. Smita felt alone in their midst. She was lost in her thoughts. Suddenly, a daring thought came to her, and as she hurried home, she said to herself, "Why not? There's no harm in trying it. It would be nice to go to the concert. I don't know when we'll get another opportunity to hear Pandit Ravi Shankar," she said to her mother later, and her father agreed to get the tickets. The next day, as Smita and her father were leaving for the concert, her brother smiled and said, "Enjoy yourself," though the words came out in painful gasps. Lucky you. So now, children, as Aunt Shushila had told Smita to just go out to the park and feel little better, take a walk. So she thought that this idea was good. She went to the park and started walking. There she saw that all many people were doing exercises, yoga, walking, running, playing ball, feeding the ducks, eating, roasted grams and peanuts. She felt alone, even if there were so many people around, she felt alone there. She was very, very sad, and she was always thinking about her brother in her thoughts. And she was always, dreaming about her brother so that he may get well soon. Suddenly, when she was walking, she had an idea. Okay, something was going on in her mind. She wanted to do something for her brother. Then she hurried home. Okay, she went running back home and thought to herself that whatever idea she had got, that she should do it, and nothing, there's no harm in trying the idea that she had thought about, and it would be nice, and she thought that she should go to the concert, as it was the only opportunity for them to listen to him, that is Pandit Ravi Shankar. So later on, okay, by evening, she told her mother that she would like to go to the concert, and then her father agreed and brought the tickets. Then the next day, as Smita and her father were about to leave for the concert, her brother was lying there in front of her, and he told her to enjoy herself in the concert. But the words that came out from his mouth were very painful, children. Why? Because he really very much wanted to go to the concert, and told her, "Lucky you, because Smita could go to the concert and he could not, even when he wanted to." Sitting beside her father in the gallery, Smita heard, as in a dream, that the thundering welcome the audience gave the great master. Then the first notes came over the air, and Smita felt as if the gates of a land of enchantment and wonder were opening. Spellbound, she listened to the unfolding ragas, the slow, plaintive notes, the fast twinkling ones, but all the while the plan she had decided on the evening before remained firmly in her mind. The chance of a lifetime. She heard Anand's voice in every beat of the tabla. The concert came to an end. The audience gave the artist a standing ovation. A large mustached, having a long mustache, man made a long boring speech. Then came the presentation of bouquets. Then more applause, and the curtain came down. The people began to move towards the exits. Now was the time. Smita wriggled her way through the crowds towards the stage. Then she went up the steps that led to the wings, her heart beating loudly. In the wings, a small crowd had gathered to talk about the evening concert, to help carry bouquets and teacups and instruments. So now, children, as the father and Smita had entered in the place where the concert was going on, so now everyone, the audience, okay, the auditorium was full with audience, and there were people who were smiling and talking, and they were so happy for the concert to begin. So everyone, okay, all the audience in that auditorium welcomed the master, okay, that is Pandit Ravi Shankar, when he entered. Then the first note, okay, so as he started his music, the tabla, everyone were like mesmerized with the notes of the music, because they really loved the music, the tabla music. Now Smita, as if the gates of the land of enchantment, so Smita was also a lover of the music, so she also went into that mood of music where everything was feeling so peaceful. Spellbound means out of the world, okay, very much, very good. She listened to the all the ragas that Pandit Ravi Shankar was playing, and making the music. So but in all these things, okay, in all those low and high musics where everybody was listening and going into the world of music, she did not forget about the plan that she had decided in the park. Okay, she even in the music that she was listening to, she remembered about her brother. Okay, she was firmly thinking about the plan, she was thinking about her brother. Even in the notes of the music, she could hear and see her brother. So that is why she was waiting for when the concert would come to an end. Then slowly, as there were many musics, many songs that were being played at the concert, as soon as the concert came to an end, the audiences started giving a huge ovation. Okay, and then slowly after the concert was over, a mustached man, okay, who was there, he came and gave a boring speech which Smita did not like, because she was wanting for the concert to get over, because she wanted to fulfill her idea, okay, the plan that she had made. Then when everything was over, when the concert came to an end and even the speech got over, then everybody near the auditorium started taking away the giving the bouquets to all the respective people, for respect and all. They started giving, then more applause, people started clapping, and then finally the curtain came down. Now the people began to move towards the exit. That means all the audiences were going towards the exits. But this was a time where Smita thought that she should execute her plan. As there was a lot of crowd, okay, so Smita was wriggling, means she was pushing everybody and going forward, okay, towards the stage. And then she went up the steps and went into the place, okay, where Pandit Ravi Shankar and other artists were. So as she went near the wing where they were gathered, the people there were talking about the concert, okay, how it went, it was so beautiful. They were talking about the evening. So to help carry, there were many people who were trying to clean that area. They were taking the bouquets, they were taking away the teacups, removing the instruments, the tabla, the instruments that were used for the concert. He was there standing with the man who played the tabla for him, the great wizard of music, Ustad Allah Rakha. Her knees felt weak, her tongue dry, but she went up and standing before them, her hands folded. "Oh, sir," she burst out. "Yes," he asked questioningly, but kindly, and her story came pouring out. The story of her brother, who lay sick at home, and of how he longed to hear him and the Ustad play. "Will you come to Aunt Shushila's house and play for him?" She asked at the end breathlessly. Please, she begged. Please come. Little girl, said the mustachioed man who had made the long speech. Pandit ji is a busy man. You must not bother him with such requests. But Pandit Ravi Shankar smiled and motioned him to be quiet. He turned to Ustad Sahib and said, What shall we do, Ustad Sahib? The Ustad moved the wad of pan from one cheek to another. Tomorrow morning we perform for the boy. Yes, he said. Yes, Panditji replied. It's settled then. So now, children, as she reached near the place, okay, the plan that she had planned earlier, she reached near the place that she wanted to reach, and then she saw that the man who had played the tabla, okay, that is Ustad Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Rakha, were standing there. Okay, she now, when she wanted to go and talk to them, she was feeling very nervous. Okay, she couldn't speak anything. She was very nervous and scared because they were very famous, and to talk to them was very difficult. But anyhow, she wanted to do and carry out on her plan. So anyhow, she went up to them and stood before them and folded her hand and called out to them. Then suddenly she asked, and she called out to them, and they told her what was the problem, what did she want. Then she was scared in the beginning, but as she thought about her brother, she told all of her story about his sickness and how badly he wanted to listen to them. Okay, how badly he wanted to listen to their music, and also he wanted to come to the concert, but he couldn't come. And she requested them, okay, she requested them to come to Aunt Sushila's house and play for Anant. So she asked at the end of breathlessly, means she finished the whole story in one breath. Okay, in one breath she told everything, because she did not wanted to she wanted to do something for her brother. She begged them in front of them, okay, so that they may come and play for her brother. So what was her plan is that Smita wanted Ustad Allah Rakha and Pandit Ravi Shankar to come to Aunt Sushila's house and play for Anant, because he couldn't come to the concert, right? So that's why she wanted both these maesters to come and play for Anant. She was begging endlessly. She anyhow wanted to convince both of them. But suddenly, one mustachioed man, okay, who had given that boring speech, okay, that long speech, he told to Smita that she shouldn't tell this because they are busy and famous people, and she shouldn't bother both of them as they do not have time. But when Pandit Ravi Shankar heard this, he smiled and told him to be quiet, okay, to that mustachioed person. He turned to the Ustad, okay, he heard about what Smita had told. So he asked the Ustad, okay, that what should be done. Okay, Pandit Ravi Shankar asked Ustad Allah Rakha that what should we do? Should we go and play for the boy or no? What should be done? So the Ustad moved the wad of pan. That means Ustad Allah Rakha had pan in his mouth. Okay, so he moved the pan from one side of his cheek to another side, and then he said that tomorrow morning, okay, they would go to Smita's house, that is Aunt Sushila's house, and play for the boy. And they said that this is the plan for tomorrow, and they would come tomorrow in the morning. It was a very excited Smita who came home late that night. Anant was awake, breathing the oxygen from the cylinder. Did you hear him? He whispered. I did, she replied, and I spoke to him, and he will come tomorrow morning with the tabla, Ustad, and they'll play for you. And the following morning, Aunt Sushila's neighbors saw Two men get out of a taxi which pulled up outside their block. They could not believe their eyes. Is it? It's not possible, they said. Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Rakha went up the wooden staircase and knocked softly on the door of Aunt Sushila's apartment. They went in, sat down on the divan by the window, and played for the boy, surrounding him with a great and beautiful happiness as life went out of him gently, very gently. So now, children, as Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Rakha had promised, Smita, that they would come tomorrow morning and play the music for Anand. So Smita was the most excited, when she came out of that auditorium. She was very excited and very happy at that night. So as she came home late at night, Anand was still awake, as he was waiting for his sister to see like how was the concert. So he was, lying down, awake. He was awake and he was lying down, and he was breathing from the oxygen cylinder. So you can understand what his state of illness was. So he asked his sister, did you hear him? In his words there was so much of deep feeling, because he himself wanted to go to the concert. So he whispered, he was telling her slowly that did she hear him? So Smita replied saying that yes, I heard him and I spoke to him, he will come tomorrow. She said that Smita had spoke to Allah Rakha and Pandit Ravi Shankar, and tomorrow morning they would actually be coming to their house and would play for Anand. So she told this to Anand, and the next morning Aunt Sushila's neighbor, Ustad Allah Rakha and Pandit Ravi Shankar arrived at Aunt Sushila's apartment in a taxi. So as they were getting out of their taxi, Aunt Sushila's neighbors were very amazed and surprised, because these two artists are very famous and popular. So they couldn't believe their eyes after looking at both of them. They were really very surprised and said that this is not possible. So now Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Rakha climbed the staircase, which was a wooden staircase, and knocked very politely on the door of Aunt Sushila's apartment. Then they went inside and sat on a divan which was near the window, and started playing the sitar and the tabla for Anand. As they were playing, the music, slowly Anand was listening to the music, but slowly the life, Anand's life went out from his body. That means he was listening to the music. They started playing for the boy and surrounded the place with great and beautiful happiness as life goes out of him very gently. So finally Smita was able to fulfill Anand's dream of listening to the music of Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Rakha, and finally life went out of him. Children, this was a very heart touching story where Smita tried to fulfill the dreams of her brother, and which she was very successful at. So now we have completed with the explanation. Thank you for listening, children. Take care.